Hello, everyone, and welcome to another action-packed edition of the OverMark Podcast. We're your hosts, Dave and TJ. Today, we're going to be talking to you about SmackDown from June 20th, 2025, Collision from June 21st, 2025. Got a little bit of news, and another segment of Push or Pass. As always, don't forget to follow us on all of our socials at OverMark ENT for some more OverMark content. And we're going to just jump right into it. So we've got SmackDown from June 20th, 2025. It says here that there was an attendance of 10,629. It says it was set up for 10,679 with 50 available tickets. They probably ended up selling out. I can't remember if they said they were to sell out on the broadcast or not, but that information was old prior to it going on the air. Not old, but from earlier that day. So they probably ended up selling out or damn close. It was at the Van Endel Arena in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Never heard of it before, but it didn't look bad on TV. And we got something going on here real quick. Let's see. There we go. Okay, I see what's going on now. And we got the LA Knight promo to start the show. Apparently, I had my mic a little too close to my face there, so I was coming in hot on y'all. Sorry about that. We got LA Knight's music hits to a huge ovation from the crowd, and clips play from Monday Night Raw, where LA Knight pushed Bronson Reed off the top rope in the main event, allowing Jey Uso to get the pin. Loud LA Knight chants from the crowd. LA Knight comes out and does his "Let Me Talk to You," recaps how Seth's boys screwed him out of Money in the Bank. Yeah. Says he had to return the favor by screwing one of them out of King of the Ring. Yeah. Points out the back and forth sabotage. They screwed me, I screwed them. Sounds amazing. Says it got him thinking. This ends with him and Seth Rollins. What better place than here? What better time than now? Little Rage Against the Machine reference there. And officially calls out Seth Rollins. Yeah. And yeah, he wants him. He's pissed off. And instead, he gets Paul Heyman. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Heyman comes out. He introduces himself as the wise man for Mr. Money in the Bank, Seth freaking Rollins. The crowd boos. Heyman tells them, "You don't boo that name." LA Knight asks why he's out here instead of Seth. Heyman asks if he can enter the ring. The crowd chants OTC. He's not there. Spoiler alert, he's not there. And LA Knight tells him to get in the ring. And tension builds between Heyman and Knight. Loud CM Punk's chant breaks out. Heyman, I don't know why the fuck I said that. Heyman claims to be the biggest LA Knight fan in history. Shouts, "Yeah," mockingly. Says Rollins gave him permission to deliver a message. Get the hell out of Michigan. Warns if you don't, something really bad is going to happen to you tonight. LA Knight calls Heyman a liar and a leech, feeding off of rising stars. Says if he can't have Rollins, he'll take Heyman right here, right now. Loud crowd cheers as LA Knight says he'll turn his back and let Heyman get the first shot. LA Knight turns around. Heyman exits the ring. And Heyman tells him that wasn't a prediction. That was a spoiler. His usual little Heyman thing. Tosses the mic. And then Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker run down to the ring. And LA Knight tries to fight them off at first, but Bronson Reed takes him down. They throw LA Knight outside the ring. He grabs a steel chair and hits both of them with it, and he returns to the ring standing tall as Heyman stops the attack. And, that was then they go to a commercial at that point. That was a decent little segment so far. Yeah. And then they come back with a back. I can't fucking talk tonight. I don't know what my problem is. So then they get a backstage segment with these same fellas when they come back from the commercial. And Heyman appears backstage with Breaker and Reed, and he assures them that everything is under control. Brian Saxton enters with a message from Nick Aldis, announces that it's going to be Bronson Reed versus LA Knight tonight. Breaker gets heated. Heyman stops him. Heyman turns to Reed and says, "Patient isn't a virtue, it's a strategy." And, this is a decent little segment. They came out, they did what they needed to do. What did you think of this, TJ?
Not bad. Got some notes here. I thought LA Knight did a. You didn't go over the notes part right there at the bottom, right? Sorry.
No, I didn't.
Okay, good. My fucking cat's fucking with my shit. But anyways, we thought LA Knight did a good job of making his point, coming off as a likable babyface seeking revenge. It also suggested that we could be seeing more off this based off the spoilers from Heyman during his promo. Knight fighting off Reed and Breaker was booked well since it made him look smart, since he got the chair to do it. There's a lot of times where these guys are coming in and, Cody does it a lot where he just jumps in there and just tries to beat up a whole bunch of guys. 1 versus 3.
They make the baby faces seem dumb as fuck.
Yeah, it's nice. I don't know if that's him talking to him and telling him I can't go out there and do that. It makes me look stupid, or if it's the guy that's producing all of his shit for him. But either way, good job.
Right, way to do something that makes sense. Sorry if you're hearing background noise. I'm adjusting my mic a little bit.
You're good.
It was slipping.
So we got the Queen of the Ring tournament match here with Alexa Bliss and Asuka. It was a good match with Asuka getting the win in her second match since coming back from a major knee injury. Bliss got some near falls that were believable, and the crowd was into the match. They like Bliss a lot. But, we expected Asuka to win here, right?
Yeah.
That's what she seems to do.
For sure. And I think that the makeup, whatever she's using, is working real well because she worked a whole match. The shit never comes off at all. I don't know what the deal with that is. But, other face-painted wrestlers maybe should be hitting her up for some tips.
I agree. It works pretty well. Anything else to talk about that little match there?
No. Just other than that, it was a good match. I don't think that anybody really thought Alexa was going to win, like you said, but they made it believable and had a decent back and forth.
Yeah, there was a while there on the show where that was the 2 top chicks, seemingly. They were both always getting tossed the belt for about a 4-year period there.
But, like 2017, 18, 19, yeah.
I'll take us on here. It's a backstage segment with B-Fab, Jade, and Michin. They were watching the match that just happened, and they're in talks together. It's funny, like Michin's like, I didn't know that she was dressing the same way that they were. She says that Asuka made a big statement tonight. She suggests that they speak with GM Nick Aldis about chasing the women's tag team titles. Byron Saxton approaches and interviews Jade Cargill. Jade praises Roxanne Perez as quick and scrappy, but says this isn't a training room. Jade, I am the storm. This tournament was about the future. I'm not here to win. I'm here to reign. And then she said that Roxanne Perez is like an upcoming storm, but I am the storm. I don't know. It was weird, but, Jade definitely could win this thing, I know they want to push her. I'm sure they're paying her a lot of money, but I think it's a tough call between her, Asuka, and Roxanne Perez. What do you think?
Selfishly, I'd like to see Roxanne win because big fan of her, and she has the most matches of anybody on the roster this year already too. But and that's irrelevant. But it could be any of the 3 easily. I think that they probably are not going to have Asuka win, and it's really down to Jade or Roxanne. And I kind of feel like the time to push Jade may have come and went already, and where she's at's going to kind of be where she's at. Yeah. Maybe at some point she'll come up and have a cup of coffee with the title, but I don't see her having that for a very long period of time. And with how they're building Roxanne, I feel like she probably makes the most sense. But yeah, one of them two will probably be the women's winner. You heard it here first, or maybe you didn't. I don't know. Somebody else could have said it. Who knows?
It's Triple H booking. So if Triple H really doesn't like black people, like they say he doesn't, Roxanne Perez will win. But if he's trying to make like a statement that he's pushing African American talent, maybe he'll lean towards Jade, because I know that is something that they
people.
Yeah, that is something that they say that Triple H doesn't appreciate. So we'll see. I think either way, maybe that might be something that influences that a little bit, good or bad. Not a thing we're talking about here. Just maybe something that will affect it, right?
Yeah. Why don't you tell us about the next segment too?
So It was some backstage segment against Alexa Bliss, Chelsea Green, and Charlotte Flair. Alexa Bliss is shown with the secret Hervis, Green Piper Niven. Yeah. Chelsea Green says that she should have been in the tournament. She had the chance to, but she sat out, remember? Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, she missed the flight or whatever the fuck happened. I don't know what actually.
But remember, they had her on the phone and she said, delay it till I'm there.
Yes.
Yeah, Charlotte Flair walks in and tells Green that if it weren't for her, Charlotte would have been in the tournament. Green storms off. Bliss tells Charlotte she didn't need her help. Charlotte responds, I wasn't going to help you, and walks off coldly. So I guess they're doing a slow build between these two of if they're friends or if they're not. The classic, huh?
Yep. I think that they'll end up probably being friends. I don't know. We'll see.
Same here. I mean, what else do they have to do? And if they're really trying to, they're either going to drop those tag titles or not. And that would be two good females that don't have much going on for them, that they need to keep busy. And that could be something that could do that if they seriously were going to actually try to do a division for the women and tag team.
I had read that they already have a plan for what they're going to do. I don't know what it is. Obviously, that wasn't in there, but I assume maybe it'll have something to do with Roxanne and Raquel.
I don't know. Usually, their plans for it. So.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Maybe though.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully they get better, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well. Yep. Let's talk about something else here. You can do this one if you want.
Okay. Well, we got Aleister Black versus Kit Wilson. And I was actually pretty excited for this. Our friend Brandon was watching SmackDown with us, and normally he doesn't. He just watches Raw. He's, you guys might have heard us talking about him before. He's our casual friend that watches wrestling occasionally, likes WWE more than AEW, and then our friend Ashley likes AEW more than WWE. She said, what's that one wrestling you would get, semi-professional wrestling? That's what she called AEW. So that popped me pretty good. But anyway, back to the match here. Kit Wilson is already in the ring for his scheduled match with Aleister Black. Aleister Black begins his really cool entrance, and I'm explaining shit to Brandon as he's coming out. And Brandon's thinking it's pretty cool. And then R-Truth blindsides Kit Wilson from behind. R-Truth locks him in the STF and grabs a mic. I almost said that he grabbed Nick. Maybe he did. Who knows? He shouts, John Cena, get out here now. And he's driving on his terms. Reapplies the STF to Wilson until the WWE officials run out. Jamie Noble physically intervenes and talks R-Truth down. And R-Truth leaves the ring with Jamie Noble walking to the back. And then, they go backstage and we get a little bit of fallout from what had just occurred. And Jamie Noble and R-Truth are continuing their conversation. R-Truth again says, I want Cena. And boy, that sounds scary. Aleister Black walks in and confronts R-Truth for interfering in his match. R-Truth says it's nothing personal. Tells Black, it had nothing to do with you. Black and Truth stare down. Damian Priest steps in to de-escalate. Priest tells Black to let him handle it, saying Truth is going through a lot. Priest reminds Truth that he used to lash out too, but Truth always made him smile. Priest encouraged him to channel that energy into his match with Cena, use that anger, that negativity, and all that. And after that, we celebrate. Truth agrees and shakes Priest's hands. And, fucking that was pretty cool. They had the whole deal when Truth was quote unquote I'm in the Judgment Day, but he wasn't in the Judgment Day, and he was always out there getting pretty good laughs with that Judgment Day shit that they were doing with him for a while. So it makes sense that he would have Damian Priest here having his back. And I liked it. What did you think of this, TJ?
It was good, nothing really too crazy. It was a lot of, you said a lot of stuff for really not a lot of stuff that happened, just Aleister Black comes out, about to have a match. R-Truth comes out, attacks the guy. They go backstage, and they're talking. He does the I want Cena thing, but, it was okay. It furthered what they had going on. Kit got jumped like he owed Truth money for the 24/7 title days.
Yeah.
I'm all in on the untruth, the unhinged Truth. dude's one step away from cutting promos in Morse code. You never know what's coming out of his mouth or who's catching hands next. And that unpredictability makes him actually dangerous. It's a wild switch from his usual comedy act, but the crowd eats it up. And honestly, so do we. I wonder if this is going to a truth versus black direction.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Wouldn't have expected that before.
He needs a good feud with somebody. That way he's not just floundering in the lower mid card like I feel like he kind of is right now.
Yeah, I agree. That would be something that they could get a couple months out of, and some decent matches and some good promos. Polar opposites.
I feel like we're getting short spaced a little bit on the storytelling because of how frequently we're getting these Saturday night main events or PLEs. It feels like sometimes we're getting like 2 or 3 weeks in between events, so we're getting like 1 to 3 week story build for these matches, or sometimes it's like it's the SmackDown that's the Friday before the PLE and here's the 5th match getting announced, even though we've had the other 4 matches announced for a couple weeks now.
Yeah, there's definitely some truth to that. They got more content than ever to fill. They're definitely a content company, and it's not to say that the feuds aren't going through the Saturday night main events, though, but they're having a lot more shorter programs than they usually have, for sure. But I feel like they have more programs going on than ever, so maybe it balances out. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
Matches don't always have to wrap up in one.
Yeah.
Or programs don't have to wrap up in one match. That's like some AEW style of storytelling.
Yep. Definitely.
But yeah, what happened next on the show, TJ?
Well, speaking of AEW, we got a guy that used to be there and helped start the company in Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Sami, and Randy Orton segment. I had all of them in the ring here. Whoa! Yep. So live in the arena, Cody Rhodes' entrance hits. Wrestling has more than one royal family. And Cody walks out to a thunderous ovation. Yeah, they were definitely into it. Yeah, they were into him. And before he can speak, Jey Uso's music plays. He walks through the crowd. And the crowd erupts with yeet chants. The fans chant one more time. I think Jey Uso's took up like 8 minutes of this show, maybe 10. But Jay's theme plays again, and they all yeet again. And Jey Uso starts talking, and he addresses Cody. Jay says he and Cody are in the trenches together. We've been to the mountaintop. Says that this Monday, there's only room for one of them. Jay versus Cody is going to be a war. It's not personal. It's business. Ends with, after we go to war, it's going to be 4 letters, 1 word, yeet. Cody and Jay hug. Then Sami Zayn enters. Sami Zayn's music hits. He gets a big reaction as well. He says that he's honored to share the ring with 2 friends and 2 of the best in the business. Acknowledges the truth. He's the only one in the ring who hasn't held the world title. He reminds Jay he missed WrestleMania, but flew in just to congratulate him on the title win. He tells Cody he ran to the ring the moment Cody finished his story. And then, that's true. Sami messages, now I have to finish my story. When the fuck's that going to be? Like 2.5 years from now? But Sami Orton interrupts. Yeah. Orton's music hits. Crowd pops. Orton tells Cody he'll cross any line to get to John Cena. Oh, no. Man, that sounds like a way nicer, cleaner version than the normal one. Where'd you get that?
Yeah. Oh, I think it was on YouTube or something.
Is that the YouTuber Real Online Boy?
Yeah, that is him. Yeah.
Wow.
He did as an interesting version,
Yeah, that sounds like Randy Orion's theme that he just put out. They talk to me. Wow, man, I could go to sleep to that. But so Orton tells Cody that he'll cross any line to get to John Cena at SummerSlam, even if it means going through him. He turns to Jay. I respect you. Our families go way back. But if you were in front of me, it's 3 letters, 1 move, RKO. Randy Orton delivers a major endorsement to Sami Zayn. One day, Sami Zayn will be world champion, but that day is not today. He closes the segment, and he's correct. Tonight, you'll be on the receiving end of the 3 most dangerous letters in sports entertainment. which is RKO as well, I think. I may have blacked out for a couple seconds and maybe it wasn't RKO, but we thought this segment did its job hyping up the King of the Ring. It was basically a glorified who's got the most main character energy contest. Cody looked like he was one microphone snatch away from snapping, but they didn't lean too hard into the drama. Jey Uso came through with a solid promo. Zayn was his usual lovable, slightly frantic self, and Randy Orton strolled in like a man who's been confidently RKOing people since dial-up internet. All in all, solid stuff to build the semifinals. What'd you think?
I enjoyed this segment. Everybody did a good job. It feels like, and we talked about this yesterday when we were watching it, and even Brandon noticed this, that...
Dave.
What's up?
Move back a little bit.
Okay. Jeez. I got to get real far back from this. It feels like that Jay is more over than Cody and everybody now. Like, he got the biggest reaction of everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason is I have you turned up to 200%, but I haven't messed with what I have you turned up on with this in a while. And
no, you're good.
I think we had you like that this whole time on here.
Yep.
So nothing out of the ordinary, but sorry for the technical talk, guys.
I've been fucking with different mic positions for a couple of weeks, so that's part of it.
You know how I can see the little audio input capture? You were going red before. That's when I was saying something. So it's you're in the green now. Yeah, you're in the green now and touching yellow. We can edit. We can edit this out or keep it in. It's up to you.
Okay, keep it in.
Right.
Hey everybody, this is how stuff gets done.
Sometimes and sometimes not. So sorry. Go ahead. Do your thing.
Oh boy. We got a King of the Ring match with Randy Orton versus Sami Zayn, and the winner of this match is Randy Orton. This is a great match between two top-tier babyface veterans. Basically a showdown of who could get cheered louder. Orton winning isn't exactly breaking news, but we were rooting for Zayn mostly because the idea of him awkwardly wearing a crown and cape is comedy gold. That said, Orton versus Cody in the finals, that's some premium legacy drama right there. Give them a few extra minutes next time, and we're talking about an all-time classic, or at least a really good match. And for the second year in a row, we got Randy Orton in the finals for the King of the Ring tournament, where he'll face Cody Rhodes or Jey Uso.
Yeah, that's how it was last year, too.
What did you think of all this?
I mean, it was good. You hit the nail on the head, but it was good. I liked it. You kind of knew who was going to win this going in. Zayn's the guy that puts the guys over. And solid match. Nothing that you're going to write home about, but I think you'd be happy you watched it. If you were there in person, you'd be very happy about that match. So, having said that, we'll move on to the Walmart match of the week. We really need to.
Oh no!
We need to do a little song thing, and we'll play for that. Where it'll be our Walmart segment of the week or of the night or some shit. Where we got some crappy fucking match or segment with Nia Jax confronting Tiffany Stratton. Sorry, it wasn't that bad. I'm just not a fan of Nia Jax. But she makes her way to the ring with booze. She can get heat. I'll give her that. And I don't feel like it's necessarily go away heat. People were playing along with her. I think it's fair to say that, right?
Yeah.
But she says it's crazy that Tiffany Stratton wanted her guidance, claims she elevated Tiffany and was repaid with betrayal and title loss. Calls out Tiffany for taking everything from her. Tiffany Stratton responds. Her music hits. She walks out with the women's championship, compares Nia to a toxic ex who can't move on, says Nia keeps making excuses and needs to admit the truth. I'm better than you. Nia challenges her to a rematch. Tiffany says it's already official. Next week, last woman standing match. Which, what the fuck? And I'll have fun adding more scars to your head. So they have a physical brawl. Nia swings at Tiffany, but Tiffany ducks. Nia hits the ropes, nails her with the spine buster, and then a big leg drop. And she completely laid her the fuck out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Nia raises the women's championship in the air. Fans boo loudly. So they didn't like that. And then old Naomi comes in, and her music hits. She sprints out with the ref. And just before she can cash in, Nia pulls her under the ring. Naomi escapes and climbs back onto the apron, and Tiffany drop kicks Naomi off the apron. Naomi crashes into Nia on the floor. Tiffany stands tall, holding her title with her theme playing. So I guess in the end, at least she stood tall there. But man, this is second week that Nia has beat Tiffany up and then kind of saved her from a cash in from Naomi or whatever.
100%.
So straight to the point. Didn't overstay its welcome. Just how we like these kind of segments with a lot of these women involved. In our fast forward orders as well. It sets up Stratton versus Jax in Saudi Arabia without 12 minutes of dynamic pauses. And once again, Nia Jax played gatekeeper of the briefcase, shutting Naomi down like she's guarding the last women's titles match on Earth. Turns out, Jax doesn't want anyone else cashing in. She wants to do the honors of squashing Stratton herself. Sharon is clearly not caring in Nia Jax's world. So what'd you think about that?
Well, boy, I like Tiffany Stratton. I'm not really so crazy about Nia Jax, and Naomi is starting to slowly grow on me a little bit. I don't necessarily hate everything she's doing now. Cautiously optimistic that this may be something entertaining. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah. I was trying to be very measured in my response there.
No,
and then that's really it for that.
I feel like Naomi, like she's, as long as she's not in the ring, it's not the worst thing in the world. But I feel like she gets really hyped up in the ring, and like all this anxiety and like adrenaline gets to her, and she just gets ahead of herself. It's not to say that she can't have a good match, because I've seen her have passable matches before, but sometimes she just stinks the place up more often than not.
I'd like to see her have a intergender match with Randy Orion.
Oh man, I wonder if when she had that match.
Yeah, probably. Speaking of match, we have a match here coming up. Charlotte Flair versus Chelsea Green, the match that no one asked for, but it happened. And we get Charlotte Flair, spoiler alert, ends up winning. We get a little bit after the match stuff that goes on. Piper Niven hits Charlotte with a big senton, and Alexa Bliss runs down and helps her out. And they work together to fight off the secret Hervis. After clearing the ring, they both stand tall briefly. And Charlotte walks past Alexa without acknowledging her. And Bliss glares at Flair as her music plays, and she exits solo. This was a classic. Let's remind everyone Charlotte Flair still exists match after her Queen of the Ring hopes got body slammed into the void. Chelsea Green tried her best with a chaotic heel cosplay, but it was basically a formality with distractions and shenanigans that never really had a real shot of flipping the script. Post-match, we got a surprise crossover episode of Who Hurt Charlotte when Piper Niven pancaked her mid-figure eight, possibly twisting her knee, or maybe not. Hard to tell with Flair. She sells injuries like she's auditioning for a daytime soap opera. And then in came Alexa Bliss to make the save, because apparently she's been binge-watching How to Make Friends Who Don't Want You Back. Flair cleared the ring like it was her job, which it is. Bliss extended the olive branch in the form of a handshake. Flair responded with a graceful note. The story here is that Bliss just wants to be besties, but Charlotte's too busy being Charlotte. It's likely heading to a classic wrestling tale. Enemies, frenemies, tag team partners, betrayal, repeat. Stay tuned. I don't want to see any of that. I didn't really want to see the match of Charlotte Flair versus Chelsea Green. I don't hate Chelsea Green. I like what she had been doing and has been doing. Don't like the secret Hervis. Hopefully they can find some other way to elevate Chelsea Green and have her doing some good stuff. What did you think of all of this?
Charlotte used to be able to get a good match out of a chick like this. Chelsea Green's not that bad. She's passable.
Yep.
Kind of surprising. I don't know what's going on with Charlotte, and not to say that this is the worst match in the world, but by the books, average, just 100%, like like a 4 out of 10, some deal like that. But nothing.
That's
right,
fair.
yeah, nothing to write home about. I guess nothing really offensive, but just they don't need the Hervis in these matches. It's like they could just go. You could cheat without them in there, and it'll probably be more effective. Like I don't think they really get any heat, and I don't know, just not really much to go on there for me, and I'm not a big fan of. I don't know, just no need to repeat myself. You get where I'm going here. Let's move on. We got this backstage with JC Mateo and Solo Sikoa. JC Mateo was seen backstage taping up his fist. Solo asks what he's doing. JC says he's going after Jacob Fatu, and Solo stops him. No, you won't. I'll talk to him. Fatu needs me. Solo instructs JC to be ready, but not to act yet. And then it cuts away as Solo exits the room, and JC's kind of smiling. So Solo enters the arena to his music, stands in the ring with arms wide open, under the sunlight. Welcome to this place. He'll show him everything. And he calls out Jacob Fatu. Fatu makes his entrance, and Solo speaks from the heart. I didn't come to fight. I love you. Being tribal chief taught me to love and care for family. No one believed in you but me. I brought you here so you could eat, feed your family, make that money. And Solo says that he has no one else. All I have is you. All I need is you. And then he promises, even if you won't say it, I will. I love you, Jacob. And then Jacob's not buying it. Yeah. What is that? Are you okay?
Yeah, I think that was the cat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a hairball.
All right. But Jacob questions Solo's love. You love me, you used to fight your battles, to stay tribal chief, to get fame and gold. You used me. Accuses Solo of changing after the U.S. title, suggests the real problem is the title itself, places the U.S. championship on the mat between them, and challenges Solo. If that's the issue, fight me for it. And don't forget, I'm all grass, no breaks. Things break down. Solo teases the Samoan spike, but Fatu blocks and hits a headbutt. Mateo runs down to the ring. Fatu, drops him with a headbutt. Solo hits JC with a chop block. Solo and Fatu double team JC in the corner. I don't know if that's actually happened. I think it's the other way around.
No. Yeah.
I love these. Those are nice. I wish that's what happened. That'd be interesting. But Jimmy Uso's music hits. The crowd pops. Jimmy enters and hits a super kick on both JC and Solo. There we go. JC recovers and clotheslines Jimmy. Fatu rises and clears the ring. Takes out Solo and JC. Hits Solo with a running hip attack in the corner. Fatu and Jimmy stare down Solo. Jacob climbs to the second rope, but Solo rolls out of the ring. Fatu's music plays as he stands tall. This was a solid, I see through your nonsense segment from Jacob. Have these all the time when they're at this point in a split between two teammates or family, tag team, whatever, stablemates. But he clearly wasn't buying whatever Solo Sikoa was selling. Probably some recycled bloodline loyalty talk with a side of gaslighting from him. Solo tried to play nice, but Jacob hit him with the classic, nah, I'm good, and threw some hands instead. It was a nice setting up of the inevitable tag match that we all saw coming. Now we've got Team Fatu versus Team Gaslight starting up. So Jacob and Jimmy are teaming up. Makes sense. They're cousins. They both got Fatu on the birth certificate. And Jimmy's finally remembered what it's like to not be the villain. And, I'll give him a name, Bloodline Breakaways, some stupid fucking tag name like that. And, they're going to be fighting. So it should be a good match. I'll be looking forward to that. This has been a decent little build-up between Jacob and Solo. Nothing to complain about here from me. What about you?
It's not as good as the original Bloodline.
It's not going to be.
Essentially.
That was like a generational thing for them to have a good storyline like that again.
That was an insane few years, yeah. But I think they're doing a good job with this, and I'm actually want to see where it goes as opposed to some of this stuff. I would like to see it go off of my TV. What did they say that? What did they say they're going to wrestle at the Saturday Night Main Event, or is that
I don't know. It said he was going to challenge him here or whatever. I don't know what date they said that was going to happen though.
Maybe we find that out later and we're getting ahead of ourselves. Who knows?
Yes. And we can't ever remember any of this shit. And it's funny. I'm sitting here watching this shit. Today, I rewatched a lot of this show literally this part. Can't remember anything, at least the small details, but whatever.
Well, I'm sure that there's a lot of people that watch this shit that can't remember everything that happened. I mean, most people can't remember everything that happened. And then people would say, well, how can you talk about something if you can't remember what happened? And it's like, well, we remember enough of what happened. Shut up.
It's 3 hours. But LA Knight versus Bronson Reed with Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman. LA Knight won this by disqualification after a pretty good little match where he ended up kind of seeming like he was going to get the upper hand, and actually he had a lot of the upper hand the whole match.
Yep.
And then they just eventually, got tired of it and took him out. But
the crowd was super hot for him.
Yeah, but Braun Breaker fucking speared the fuck out of him. But
yes, he did.
Reed held LA Knight upright. Breaker charged in again, hit that second spear. Breaker holds LA Knight down as Reed hit the tsunami. Hit another one, hit the third one. Officials ran in there, but he kept getting rushed out by Breaker like over and over again. And then Heyman and Breaker, walked to the back together, leaving LA Knight all fucked up. I guess maybe he's going away for a little bit or something, because that's usually seems to be what they do when they have somebody take these tsunamis like that. But the match was cruising along just fine until they pulled that old WWE special cheap fucking disqualification deal. But LA Knight basically had a target practice written all over him. And the Seth Rollins Goon Squad came in, took full advantage. Fucking Breaker's literally like a Madden simulation, man. Just held him there, fucking did that tsunami, which I wonder if that just feels like a whole bunch of weight hitting you, or just like soft fat or something. But
imagine he takes care of them pretty good.
Yeah. But I imagine at that point LA Knight's sitting here thinking like, what the fuck am I doing this as a job for? Like, that's got to be terrible having that guy jump on you. But
yeah,
pretty nice how the referees who entered the ring just immediately run away over and over again. Like, they saw some kind of fucking spider on the floor or something, they're afraid of him. But
oh no.
Yeah, and then meanwhile the entire babyface locker room must have been on lunch break for this shit, because not a single soul came out. Literally talks like The Rock, and he's treated like Gilbert, I guess. Nobody gives a fuck.
That's a fair assessment.
Yep. What you think? Got anything to add?
Well, I thought that the match was actually pretty decent, and I like the story that they're telling with all these guys, and I'm sure it's going to go somewhere that's entertaining. All of the people involved are now high-level guys, and is as cookie cutter as the outcome ended up being, it still is getting us where we need to go. So, as a vehicle for the quote unquote storytelling, it was decent. It was, good, average.
Yeah.
Not bad, not great, but yeah. And then, then we had another match, and it's the John Cena versus R-Truth. And they have a back and forth match, and it's not very long. Cena does some of his moves. R-Truth does some of John Cena's moves, and R-Truth wins by disqualification.
Was that
CM Punk?
How many matches ended by disqualification today?
A lot of them.
Was it 3?
I can't remember. We should have been doing a tally. That's at least 2, maybe 3.
Yeah. Either way, back to back.
Our memory is bad.
Back to back matches ended, and we know that. Go ahead.
So CM Punk comes out, and he gets in the ring, and as soon as he dives in, John Cena's beating him down. He's instantly whipping his ass. Punk fights back with strikes of his own. Punk grabs the championship to use as a weapon, and John Cena kicks him right in the crotch. And Cena hits Punk in the face with the belt and pulls a table out from under the ring and sets it up inside. Punk gets to his feet, and Cena hits him with the title again and lifts him up and gives him the AA through the table. It's pretty cool. And then John Cena grabs the mic and starts to cut a promo. And spoiler alert, it's a pipe bomb CM Punk style promo. He begins to laugh. He addresses Punk directly and says, as he lays motionless in the ring, that before he leaves WWE in 6 months as champion, he has things to say. And then this is where he starts to kind of parody CM Punk's promo. I don't hate you. I don't even dislike you. I like you more than anyone I've shared a locker room with. but I hate this idea that you're the best in the world. You're not. I am. I'm the greatest of all time. You're better than me at one thing, being the best bullshitter in the world. Oh no, I cursed. Stu, shoot this. I'm breaking the fourth wall. And then he waves at the camera. And then he calls out Punk's myth for being the best. He claims the fans cheer and sing for Punk but don't believe in him. He accuses Punk of changing his values constantly and then looks at the camera and says, "Hi, Claudio Castagnoli, Nick Nemeth, and Matt Cardona." Declares himself Punk's only friend. Remember who gave you the mic for the pipe bomb? It's pretty funny that he shouted those guys out. That's awesome. All three of them are in different companies. Well, Matt Cardona is the indie god. He's not in any company right now. He's in all of them. And then Cena glows nuclear. He says, "You're no longer the voice of the voiceless. You're a millionaire despite yourself. You're not Punk. You're a capitalist. You're not against TKO. You are Mr. TKO." Mocks Punk's weak actions and strong tweets. Promises that at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, Punk will hear the loudest truth yet. Says the world will witness what 25 years of no days off looks like. Crowd chants Cena. Cena, Punk was the best in the world for 7 minutes 14 years ago. Signs off, bring your A game because the mood is starting to change. And this wasn't so much a match as it was a commercial break with a punchline, just long enough to technically count. But you really just excuse to crank up evil Cena and slide CM Punk into the chaos. R-Truth got the W, but don't blink or you'll miss it. The real show started when Punk hit the ramp, and Cena decided to go full final boss mode and jumped in with the WWE title like he was defending a throne. He hit Punk with some dollar store MMA strikes and just casually kicked him in the crotch because nothing says fighting champion like a well-placed low blow. And then came not one, but two WWE title headshots, complete with Foley-era sound effects, followed by the AA through the Slim Jim sponsored table like it was a late entry into the Royal Rumble. Shout out to the roast random product placement during a beatdown since the KFC Colonel Rumble. In short, Cena went full heel, Punk took the beating like a champ, and Night of the Champions match was basically gift wrapped in steel and Slim Jims. Those tables are really funny. It looks like they just get some tables and slap some Slim Jim stickers on it.
Yeah, that's what
They probably just send them a case of
They
stickers.
seem
And they're
weak
like,
too.
yeah,
Like they just literally blow up.
they break really good.
So, did you think this was I saw a lot of people online saying that this was the best wrestling promo ever.
Well, it's funny because you and I talked about that a little bit, and it was a good promo. Cena does a good promo, but also he basically just used a CM Punk promo. So of course it's going to be a good promo. It's fucking CM Punk stuff. So
it didn't have any of the makings of an all-time promo. I don't feel like you really got into it until the last part of it, anyways. But subtract that too, and it's just like it didn't really have any heat. He didn't really act the way a fucking heel does. The people fucking cheered for him. I feel like the crowd's fucking dumb there, calling like Punk a bullshit artist. Well, fuck, that's like Cena's MO. They're all fucking bullshitters to some extent, but I don't know. It's just it's funny to see Cena's not the greatest of all time at anything, and I know that's playing into what he's doing a little bit, but I am somewhat I'm a fan of John Cena, but it's just I don't know, man. This run hasn't really been too great, and it's weird. It's like maybe this is the best promo you've seen in your lifetime if you've only been watching wrestling for a year. But I mean, that's not even the best fucking promo this year, like for sure. But it's if you think it is, I feel bad for you, and I don't want to get stuck on this shit too much. But it's just I know there's just so many historic fucking promos throughout the years that heels have done and faces has done, and like I don't know, this just didn't have the dynamics of that. It was just more like a shock factor thing, and you could tell he really enjoyed it because he felt he had some good material and everything, and like I said, he really kind of got in to the end of it, but none of it was really creative, and I don't know, just kind of a shock factor deal. And SmackDown's been all right lately. Since it's had like almost a full roster on it seems, or at least all the top guys. I've enjoyed it a lot more.
Helped a lot.
But sorry, what were you going to say?
Why? Just a good promo, not great promo. All these people are like, oh, it's an all-time promo. And
Stop it. Get some help.
Yeah, I agree. All those people just they want to enjoy what they're watching, and I think that's fucking awesome. And I think it's great that they're fucking fans. But take a step back and subjectively, maybe watch some fucking old shit that some of the fucking all-time greats fucking did on YouTube and compare it to that, because we used to get fucking top level shit every fucking Monday and Thursday for a fucking long time. That was better than that by multiple guys, by mid-card guys. But basically, let's finish this by you just saying what you thought about SmackDown as a whole, and then we'll move on. Like I said, it was a decent one, maybe about like a 7 out of 10. I didn't mind it. I thought it was good. It held my attention more than past ones.
yeah, 6.5 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Even Brandon said it was a pretty good episode. He doesn't really watch SmackDown hardly ever, so he's a good barometer for if it was entertaining or not. He does tend to get very hyped for stuff sometimes, though.
Yeah, he does.
But it was a decent episode. I better than good, not great, but yeah.
Can you suck it?
So we're going to go to another show here that was, well, maybe not as good. Maybe had a couple little bright spots, but overall, more bad than good. And, we'll start off here. It was the AEW World Champion Jon Moxley versus AR Fox. So you guys out there,
I want to kill myself.
Yeah, you guys out here that have been dying to see this fucking blockbuster of a match. Here's your chance. Jon Moxley versus the fucking destroyer, an AR Fox, who's on a 0-fight fucking winning streak. And don't you worry, folks, because you are going to get your fucking money's worth this match. And that's it. That's It was just a little fucking what you would expect. Jon Moxley got his crap in. AR Fox got a little bit in. Quick little match, beat him up. That's it. We're not really going to go over that too much. But
I can't believe that Jon Moxley didn't bleed. This is like the first match we've seen him not bleed in a while.
Yeah. But Moxley continues to beat down, tells Yuta to get him a microphone. Mox runs down Hangman Adam Page, says Page has been pissing away his talent for years. Says... I'll go after this afterwards. Says that he's tired of the cowboy baby crap. Crowd boos. Mox says it's a tough sport and a tough business. Announces on July 12th at All In, I'm going to run Hangman out of this sport for good. Says Page can go back to counting chickens on his farm or whatever it is he does. Mox drops the mic and talks smack into the camera as his music fades. By the way, this was AEW Collision on June 1st, 2025. To go back a little bit, they had an attendance of 1894 and they had a setup for 2403. So they had 509 tickets left. Who knows the exact, but that's what they had listed. And they were in the Ancesco Showwear Center in Kent, Washington. Never heard of that place before. And the crowd wasn't bad, like vocally for the size, for about 2,000 people there. But it's just kind of ironic, I don't want to talk shit too much, but it's just like, from however many they had in fucking Mexico, I know it was probably at least 10,000, to back down to lower than 2,000 the same week. Like, that just tells you that they haven't figured out their TV yet. They're still trying. And not saying that they're not trying, they are trying to figure it out. And then I'll go into this other one here, and then you can do the next. So we got this all-star match. It's an 8-man tag team match with Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Daniel Garcia, and Bandito versus FTR, Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita. The winners by pinfall was FTR with Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita. We had it was an okay match. It's what you'd expect. Some flippy stuff. They beat the shit out of each other. FTR, Fletcher, and Takeshita look to continue to beat down afterwards, but the Outrunners run down to a big crowd pop. They clear the ring, chasing off FTR and Takeshita. As they retreat, Cash Wheeler is heard saying, "We thought we were still cool." I don't know. FTR's all right, but it'd be nice to see a little bit more for them than that, right?
Yeah. Seems like they are not doing much with the best tag team that they have.
Nope.
And it's a shame. I'd like to see them do a little bit better than whatever it is that they have them doing here and lately. But At least they're getting TV time and I'm sure getting a very nice paycheck.
Absolutely. And the next match here, which you'll talk about, but I'm just going to talk about it for a quick second, is Swerve Strickland versus Shane Taylor. What is he? He seems like he's on every fucking show, Swerve.
Yep.
But go ahead.
He's, Swerve equals ratings or lack thereof when it comes to AEW because, they don't get that much. But yeah, I feel like Swerve is one of those guys that's probably good to have on every show because he adds value. He's one of their top guys. I don't know why they have him wrestling Shane Taylor, but they had way more competitive of a match than what they should have. And Swerve ends up winning, and he celebrates in the ring, and commentary recaps Mercedes Moné getting blindsided by Toni Storm in the Grand Slam at Mexico after winning the CMLL title. And I don't know. The match was okay. I don't really care about the post-match stuff. I don't know why he wrestled Shane Taylor. I'm sure that there was some kind of storyline build-up. I must have missed the video package or whatever happened the episode prior that led us to this. But, it was a standard match. The dudes got their shit in. It wasn't embarrassing, at least. What did you think of it?
Not too much. I watched it, and the whole time I'm just thinking, like, why the fuck's he wrestling Shane Taylor? I know that a lot of the people that are super into everything AEW would tell me to just enjoy the match, and it was okay. Nothing too crazy. Pretty average match with everybody involved. Shane Taylor seems capable of only so much movement. He's seemed pretty out of shape. I don't know. That's basically all I got to say about that. Like, they don't really seem to use him that much. Is he on ROH? I don't know. I don't know why I should really care about him on the show. Just kind of seems like one of those guys that could be rotating them tires.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Well,
he's in better shape than Daniel Garcia, at least.
I don't know about that.
Dickhead.
Looks like he's in better shape for fucking eating hot dogs. But we got this mixed trios match here with Willow Nightingale, Hologram, yes, and Mark Briscoe, which he seems he's been on a lot of the shows lately too, and they're just filling him in wherever. He's everybody's friend. Taya Valkyrie and MXM Collection, and the winners were Willow Nightingale, Hologram, and Mark Briscoe.
Why is Hologram in this match? Didn't they just have a mixed trios match like a week or two ago where Willow and Mark Briscoe were teamed up with something else? What did the person that they were just teamed up with get hurt or something? So they just threw Hologram in there?
I don't know. They don't have anything else for him. It's it's kind of wild that it's like I was looking at reviews for this show. I've been interested to see like what do other people think about this show. A lot of people don't review it anymore. But I saw some people and they gave it like
I wonder why. It's fucking hard to watch.
But I saw some people that are giving it like 8.5s, 8s and shit. And it's just like what is
what?
Yeah, like what's your 5? Like what's your like I don't know, man. Maybe they're seeing something I'm not.
Maybe they just started watching and haven't watched other wrestling before.
Yeah, you got much to say about that match though.
No.
These intergender matches suck, and the chicks like Valkyrie just act kind of goofy and do these stupid spots. And there's some people that are into this like goofy comedy stuff, and there are situations where it can be okay. But in this situation, when you're just watching a match and with all these cold matches and just put together for no reason, it's just when every match is that, there's a certain point where it's just like, oh, okay, this is the whole fucking show, huh? But anyways, we have a backstage segment, which this is something that they've been doing a little bit, so this isn't just something random, with Chris Statlander, Yuta, and Jon Moxley. Chris Statlander's venting backstage frustrated. Everyone keeps asking her about Willow, but no one ever asks about me. Willow Yuta walks in, talking trash, and Statlander fires back with loud shouting and shoves Yuta into a guardrail. She's bigger than he is. As she turns, she bumps into Jon Moxley, and Statlander drops her phone, and Moxley picks it up. Mox hands it back and calmly says, "Don't ever let anyone tell you who you are." And Moxley and Yuta walk off together, leaving Chris with the message. See, this kind of confuses me here because it has me thinking that, like, I know the Death Riders aren't just going to fall apart if he loses the title, but I feel like Moxley's going to take a break or something. Like, this kind of has me believing that he's not going to lose the fucking title, because if they're going to have him, like, you know, the story stuff with him, like, keep progressing and getting somebody else in their faction, it seems like they're not going to do anything but expand, right? No, I don't know, but got anything to add there?
I don't want to see more of him. I want to see less of him.
Well, I don't want to see Adam Page with the fucking title.
No.
There's no alternative, man. I hope they end up having fucking Moxley win, and then fucking Darby shows up at the end of the pay-per-view and challenges him to a match Wednesday, and then he wins there. I'd much rather fucking see that.
I don't know if I want to see Darby.
Well, what's the alternative?
Yeah.
You'd rather see him than fucking Hangman.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But Don Callis, Okada, and Kota Ibushi here. Tony Schiavone introduces Don Callis. Don Callis isn't bad, man. His segments are actually always fucking decent.
No,
this is probably one of the highlights of the show, and that's not a fucking compliment. But Tony Schiavone introduces Don Callis at ringside. Callis has a message ahead of All In, introducing Okada. He's the newest member of the Don Callis family, so I guess he's split away from the Elite. Which also kind of like, see, I don't know, like, what's going on there? Are the Bucks going to end up, like, there's so many weird directions they can go here, which this is good to some extent, but I'm probably vastly overestimating the creative team here. But so, like, if you're not going to have Adam Page and Okada in the same faction, so they got Okada out of the Elite, and is Hangman going to go back into the Elite with the Bucks getting involved, helping him win? You know, it's a whole bunch of different ways you can go here. Yeah, but recap airs of Okada and Callis attacking Kid Omega at Summer Blockbuster. Callis says Omega is likely laid up in a hospital bed. Crowd chants, "Shut the schmuck up." I guess they think he's a schmuck. But Callis doubts that Kenny will make it to All In Texas, and says he'll be all alone. He was doing an Asian voice here. He's like, he cut off the Young Bucks. He got no one left. And Mark Briscoe interrupts, telling Callis to shut the heck up. See, here he is. He's everybody's friend. They were saying that, you know, he, like I said, he's got no one left. Well, Briscoe says, I'm Kenny's friend, and I'm not the only one. It's like, what a fucking chump fighting everybody's battles. Like, Kota Ibushi, music hits to a massive pop. Ibushi runs down, lays out Callis, then stares down Okada. Okada steps in, and the two begin trading strikes. Ibushi gets the upper hand, and Okada retreats to regroup with Callis. Ibushi stands tall as the music plays. Commentary teases JetSpeed versus Gates of Agony up next. Oh boy. What a tease, but what'd you think about what just happened there? It was an okay segment, but
it was like you said, it was probably one of the best segments on the show. And
until the Ibushi part, that's like a wet fart. It's like somebody's coming out, and you got like a, you know, like remember in Dragon Ball Z back in the day, they'd like do a big blast, and they'd have the dust, and you couldn't see if they were okay or not, or if somebody was behind the dust and the dust settles. That'd be like fucking the dust settling, and it's like Chaosu or something. Like fucking Ibushi. Who gives a fuck about that? I know some people do, but they got to stop relying. I know I'm cutting into your shit when you just started talking, Dave. I apologize.
No, that's fine. It doesn't matter.
That's this whole thing, like, too, like with the Okada versus Kenny thing. They're relying on a match that happened in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, that's fine. But they seem to do this shit a lot. Like Ibushi and Kenny, I don't care about that. That happened in some company that I don't fucking watch. Let's rely on stuff that we do know that you build in your own company that's actually fucking gotten over. Because I can fucking promise you one thing. Ibushi is not selling, getting anything over. Nobody's watching the show because of him. And if they are, it's like one guy.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what their ratings end up being this week.
What did you see the Grand Slam ratings? They were actually pretty good. So they were
well, good for them.
Yeah, I think they were like 330K. If you want to look that up real quick, so we can talk about it.
Right.
Okay, but no, yeah, they were like 730K. So good for them. I think it's good that they had an increase. But will that translate to long-term more viewers? I doubt it. And a lot of the hardcore fans out there said that makes it, with the 600K that they're getting on Max, that makes it over 1 million. But they're not getting over 600K on Max. So, I mean, you tell me where that number comes from.
Yeah, I don't know. That's wishful thinking, I think, on some parts. So anyway, that we had that segment, and then we get a brawl with the work horsemen and Big Bill and Brian Keith. Back at ringside, the brawl is underway, and it started during the commercial break. Big Bill and Brian Keith slam JD Drake and Anthony Henry into the steel steps. Keith sets up folding chairs, and Big Bill chokeslams him on it. It looked like it fucking hurt, actually, quite a bit. And he called for a microphone, and the patriarchy interrupts. Christian Cage's music hits, and they make their entrance, and Cage tells Seattle to shut your mouth while I conduct my business. I love when he does that. And then he complains that the brawl is cutting into his promo time. He orders Big Bill and Brian Keith to stand there and listen. Talks up Nick Wayne's schedule, taking full credit for his growth, and announces Nick Wayne and I will become the first father and son AEW World Tag Team Champions. This popped me pretty good, actually. Big Bill jokes that Nick's father could be anyone, starts just pointing at random dudes in the crowd. And Bill says, if they don't like it, we can fight right now. And Christian cuts him off, and he's like, you've gone off the wagon. We'll do what we want. I'm the face of TNT now and forever. And it was a decent little segment. I'm always entertained by everything that Christian and the patriarchy does. And I very much enjoyed Mother Wayne's outfit this segment. And it furthered the story. I guess they're going to be fighting these guys now as they're making their way up the ranks of the tag team division moving forward. And what did you think of this segment?
No, it's funny that you bring up the outfit because it's like it reminds me of like the way that the chicks dress in Dead or Alive. It's like you got this like ninja bitch, and for some reason she's like decides, you know what, I'm wearing this combat to be effective in killing people, but I want to show off my cleavage at the same time. It's like it doesn't really add up, right? But whatever. I'm sure a lot of people there aren't fucking complaining. But no, this is good. Christian's one of the best guys in the company. He's probably like the second best heel or the first best heel in the company. He should be teaching everybody over there. Like they should have like their own like NXT, and he should be like the guy fucking running it. Like he's
promo class with Christian. Yeah.
He's the fucking man, and that's really something that with the money that they have that they should be investing in. But when it comes to the whole making money aspect and being a startup, quote unquote company, those things are kind of hard to invest in when you have so many other investments that you're going in, and all that stuff. And that fucking video game, I'm sure fucking didn't help too much. So maybe that cut into that kind of shit a little bit. But overall, good stuff. Father son, I don't know about that, but Christian's the man, and Nick Wayne looks like a fucking goof. Weighing his ass onto the garbage can. But after that, we got a tag team match. Yeah, with a JetSpeed, which is Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight versus the Gates of Sagany. And JetSpeed ended up winning. I'm sure this was a marvelous match that had a lot of high-paced action, and it was really something to behold, and 5-star match, and just something that you guys should really check out if you haven't. And I know Dave fucking almost cried when he saw this match.
I almost cried having to sit through this episode of Collision. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was tough. That's why we're going over it really in not the greatest detail.
It's just a lot of these other people that cover this stuff
match over and over again. But sorry, go ahead.
Aren't even talking about Collision anymore, or they get to the part of their show where they talk about Collision and they're like, yeah, I watched it on fast forward, or I'm aware that match happened. I don't really care, it's so we're doing our best here. It's hard to watch this much wrestling all week, and Collision is probably traditionally the worst of all of the shows that you have to watch in a week. So it's just it's not a slight against AEW or anything. It's just it's
SmackDown and Collision were about the same for a while, but like we said, since they've been having more of the roster go on SmackDown, it's been a lot better. A little more palatable. There were some weeks where maybe SmackDown was worse, but not been the case the past couple of weeks. But I'll take us into this next one if you want. I'm sure you don't want to fucking talk about this. But it's this all-star 8-woman tag match with Thunder Rosa, Queen Aminata, Ty Mello, Anna Jay versus Athena, Thekla, Megan Bayne, and Penelope Ford. And Athena,
I did notice one thing. I think Thunder Rosa has new music. I don't know when she got it, but it used to be kind of like rockin' and more metal, and now it's more raha.
Yeah, traditional like Hispanic music. But Athena, Thekla, Megan Bayne, and Penelope Ford won. Penelope Ford somehow it just seems like she's so green, and Megan Bayne's not bad, but when she's not doing the whole dominant chick thing, she doesn't shine, and it seems like there's nothing special about her when she's not dominating. Thekla's already fucking, second, third weekend, already one of the fucking chicks in the locker room. Being tossed in these 8. If you don't have anything for them, don't fucking show them. We know that you don't have a problem paying people to sit at home. Don't just toss them in a match just to have it go on. And Athena, she should be on your main roster competing for championships, not on fucking your secondary show. She's probably one of the better chicks you have. And I don't know, she seems strange. And I don't know. Queen Aminata's not very good in these types of matches. Thunder Rosa's all right, but she hasn't done anything worthwhile in a while. And Tay Mello just came back, and Anna Jay, they're partnered up because Harley got hurt. And I don't know. It's just nothing to really sink your teeth into with there. And I don't know if you want to sink your teeth into talking about it or not, but just let me know. And if not, we're done talking about Collision.
Well, not so much, but we'll talk about it at least a little bit. Megan Bayne is a bright spot in this match, and Penelope Ford is not. Man, I don't know what the deal is with her. Hopefully she gets better. Athena looked good. She always looks good though. So, I'm not crazy about Thekla. I don't know. I could take her, leave her.
Yep.
But yeah, that was Collision. And it made my brain collide with my skull, giving me CTE.
Really?
Yep.
Well, I thought it.
Good thing I don't have a family. No, I'm just kidding. That's a terrible joke to make, Dave. Come on, don't do that.
Yeah, I don't think it was very good.
Yep. But yeah. So, what do we got going on next there, TJ?
So something that's a little bit better to talk about, since we're wrapped up Collision there. I think we got a little bit of news. Yeah. All right. So jumping right into our news here, since we had 2 reviews, it's not going to be a shit ton of segments here. We got the Undertaker on WWE Creative role rumor. A rumor circulated this week claiming that the Undertaker was interested in working at a full-time role in WWE Creative. The Dead Ham was asked about the rumor during an interview with WrestleStar. Here's what he said. Yeah, I've always kind of had an interest. It's just a matter of making it work with my schedule and the other things that I have going on, because to ask for something like that is really big. I had to be 100% committed to be a part of that, right? I mean, you have to be involved in all these creative meetings and all this other stuff. If we can figure out a way to make that happen, with me obviously being in Texas, I would definitely entertain it. I'll always, if there's something I can do to make our product better, help talent, then I'm on board for that. No official rule has been announced, and the doors appear open if the logistics work out, but I don't know. Kind of a nothing burger so far. That could or couldn't happen, but when he said the whole part about him obviously being in Texas, he's going to have to travel all over the place to make that happen. They might use him as a consultant about stories and stuff like that, but unless he's on the road, he's not a member of Creative.
Right. And that would be what it would take. There's not going to be you're sitting at home in Texas on doing this. He would have to be on the road doing it. I could see a world where this definitely happens. I don't know that it's going to, but I
mean, yeah, there's definitely a chance it could happen. It's not like a 0% chance, but it's more like 20, lower. When you say
crazier things have happened, and I think that it would be a good thing overall for the product if they could get him on.
He has kids, right?
Yeah.
Are they grown?
Some of them. I think the other ones are not very old. Maybe like 10.
Oh, okay. See, that can affect it. If he had kids that were all grown, like Shawn Michaels, you think he'd dive head first into the shit. Like that's why Shawn's doing it. Like his kids are grown enough now to where it's like, go work, Dad, and he can dive into this shit 100%.
Nope.
But we'll see. Could or couldn't happen. It's definitely not the no chance, but I wouldn't say it's the best chance. You agree?
Yep. I do agree, and I kind of hope it happens.
Yeah, same here.
But yeah, we got that was the news on the Undertaker there. We got a little bit more news. This may or may not happen. Speaking of things that may or may not happen, we have Stone Cold Steve Austin return rumors. These always stir up every so often and are fun to talk about. And so here it is. Wrestling fans were stunned when Steve Austin returned to action at WrestleMania 38 in 2022, defeating Kevin Owens. Now, in a report from Fightful Select, it indicates that Austin might not be done. Sources within the WWE say he's open to wrestling again under the right circumstances. He's reportedly willing to actually wrestle, not just cut promos or ride his ATV. According to Fightful, many WWE stars are eager to face Austin, one name being strongly linked, CM Punk. Austin and Punk have publicly acknowledged mutual respect in the past. Austin previously called Punk a friend when teasing the idea of a match. I think that would be the best possible scenario, even though they're both a little older. That's you're selling out the building just based on those two names on the marquee alone. WWE had reportedly pitched Austin versus Roman Reigns for 39, but it didn't happen. Nobody wants to see that. That's why it didn't happen. Austin did appear earlier this year for a Hall of Fame segment celebrating the induction of his match with Bret Hart. That was cool. Always good to see Bret out there. Famously entered the arena riding his ATV and crashing into the barricade, and said that he was happy with his WrestleMania 38 match, but hasn't closed the door on one more match. And his knees are still recovering a little bit from his knee surgeries. I think he said he's doing pretty good now, though. You never know. This could happen. This could not happen. I wouldn't hate seeing it maybe next year or the year after. I mean, I don't know how many more years. I think he's pushing 60, so I don't know how realistic, how much longer he could get this in there, but it'd be cool. I'd watch it. I'd pay to see it. What do you think of all this?
I think that if this upcoming WrestleMania, the 2026, right?
Yep.
If ticket sales aren't going good, that'll happen. I think that'll be.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I think that'll be their pull.
It's in Vegas again.
Yeah. And I think if ticket sales aren't great, and they're hitting the market twice too. I know people travel for Vegas, but that's the whole reason why they got The Rock to come and do that stupid thing. But I think The Rock might be semi-played out. And I'm sure maybe he'll come back and do something, a couple promos or whatever. But, they don't have a lot of fucking draws that can come and do these matches. And it was a proven thing. Austin, when he came back, it was in Texas, and he put some asses in the seats. And I think it would be safe to say that he could do that again. And him and versus Punk would be like a dream match that, people throw that word around a lot these days, all the time with matches that happen in AEW. That is a legit dream match that you never would have thought that you'd end up seeing. You could see it. It wouldn't have to be anything too crazy. We know what to expect from fucking both guys, and the possibility of just seeing the two guys in the ring together doing some promos. It doesn't have to be a lot. Would be a pretty exciting prospect. And like I said, I don't know how to give this, but we could update you on what we might think about it the closer this gets to WrestleMania season. Those tickets come out, and we could see how fast, how many are left at a certain period, and then we could say, maybe we think Stone Cold's going to pop up, because I can bet you if the ticket sales are low, this shit might happen.
Definitely. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. But all right. We can
and that was go ahead.
Well, that was the news, right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
We both did it. That's fucking awesome. But anyways,
that's even better.
Yeah, I'll lead us into our next segment here, and this is going to be the last one we have of the evening. So we're going to hit you with it right away here. We got another rousing segment of Push or Pass, where we pick one wrestler getting a spotlight or a major push or not, and we decide, are we in, or is this a waste of TV time? So this episode's feature is none other than somebody that we were talking about earlier. He's got some kind of werewolf or some shit in his name, Jacob Fatu. So, he's pretty good. I forget where he was before wrestling here, He was all over the place for a couple of years, and I didn't think people wanted to hire him because of his criminal background. But when Solo was doing he was the what is it, the tribal guy or whatever the fuck it is,
The tribal chief.
Yeah, the tribal chief. When he was doing that, he brought him in, and they did good work with him then. And he didn't talk a lot, and eventually he started talking. And he's for a big guy, he's got some good moves, great fucking move set. He would have fit in any fucking era, any generation of fucking wrestlers. Toss him back in the Attitude Era, would have fucking worked awesome then. His moveset translates to any fucking time in the industry. He can sell really good. His facial fucking expressions are great. The only thing he needs to do is maybe get in a little bit better shape, because it seems like he's gotten comfortable since his checks have started coming in. But other than that, I don't have anything to complain about. Maybe sometimes he sounds a little bit robotic, but for a guy that's just getting used to this WWE production and the way that they do all their stuff, he's getting used to it pretty good, and it's a definite push for me. What do you think, Dave?
Well, I'm going to definitely say it's a push for me too. Yeah, I brought this up with you earlier, and dude's got 3 catchphrases already. Most people only have like 1 or 2. He's related to The Rock, so he understands the importance of having a whole bunch of catchphrases. Probably within the next year or 2, he'll probably have 2 or 3 more. I'm not necessarily crazy about his catchphrases, but the arenas sure are. They're all following his shit. Keep pushing this guy. I keep giving him TV time. Keep giving him the microphone. Keep giving him prominent programs and positioning in the company. Based on the U.S. title that he has, I think that they're doing just that. And hopefully they continue on that. It's going to be a while before we see him in the upper. We don't need to see him the World Heavyweight Championship and the undisputed title picture are both very, very crowded right now. So it's not a place that we need to be seeing him. But just slow and steady wins the race. Keep going with Jacob, and I like what they're doing. And that is my opinion on that push.
Sounds awesome. And I've really actually been enjoying his little program with Solo. They're doing it right. And going into it, I didn't think that was going to be the case as much, but it's always nice to be proven wrong. And that being said, go ahead.
Slowly warming up to Solo.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't really necessarily more of a comment about Solo, although I agree with you. I am as well. But I was just stating they're working good together, and they're making a lot of stuff. And this broken branch of the bloodline stuff, they're still somehow pulling out stories with this shit. So it's the never-ending story of the bloodline. And we're going to go ahead and wrap up this push or pass. Appreciate you for listening to it. And we're going to wrap up this episode here. And it was a good one. I don't know about Collision as much, but SmackDown wasn't bad. And some little fun news segments in our push or pass. So I had fun doing it, Dave, like always. The next episode, it's going to be us talking to you Tuesday after Raw, which is tomorrow. So we'll hit you on Tuesday like we have been. Check out the social medias at OverMark ENT. Like I was just saying, it was cool, Dave. We always have fun doing this. I like we've just been getting more relaxed as we do it a little bit. And I don't know if it's necessarily professional, but, this is a podcast. It doesn't have to be professional, right?
Right. We see how much of dumbasses some of these other people are, and it's okay to keep it loose.
Yeah, I think so too. You guys, again, you got any suggestions? Toss them our way. Got any comments? We'll take those. We appreciate you for listening. We appreciate you for liking any video, anything you've done at all, even if it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes. Any dedication of your time to us is time that we appreciate you taking out of your life. That being said, we're going to get out of here. We appreciate you. We hope you have a good day, night, whatever you're listening to us, wherever you're listening to us, all that kind of stuff. Take it easy, and we'll see you guys next time.
See y'all next time.